Yo, so before I get to the video, I'm gonna show you the video. But first, I'm gonna show you. Sorry, I'm actually gonna show you the statement that Faze Cloaks just put out. So I'm gonna do that at the very end of the video. So if you want to see that statement, it's gonna be actually it's gonna be somewhere in the middle of the video, and it's gonna be at the end of the video. I'm gonna have it wherever there's space and there's nothing shown on the screen. I'm gonna have that statement up while I'm speaking, so you can have a read. It's a very interesting statement in what he says, and I think it speaks volumes to the people attacking Faze Banks. So yeah, just check it out and give your own opinion on it. Okay, it's your boy Supremo Chiha. I actually made a 20 minutes rant talking about the whole Tfue and Faze Clan thing, but I decided not to use that, and I've resettled my mind, and I'll try to talk calmly and not be too pissed off at Twitter for just jumping into bandwagons and being stupid per usual. So if you think about the whole James Charles situation, everyone was jumping on the Tati bandwagon. I was too a little, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. In my head, though, I never publicly talked about it because I was like, it's drama. There's probably another side to this, and some of the allegations just seemed out of place, and then some of James Charles' responses seemed out of place, right? So both sides. There's always two parties. It's very very rare for something to be extremely black and white, especially in the business and like industries like YouTube and industries like music industries, all that shit. It's very very rare for things to be black and white. Before I talk about the whole thing, I just want you guys to keep this shit in mind, right? One thing you guys got to keep in mind is that whether Faze Clan wins or whether Tfue wins, it does not mean that the other side is wrong. Winning a lawsuit does not equal you being guilty, right? I know a person, this is like from personal experience, a person that sued a business and it was off some bullshit and he did not deserve any of that win, and he got and won that case, right? He won that case regardless of how much bullshit that case was in. Now, I'm not saying the company is not perfect. I left the company myself. I don't love them like, oh, I love the people, but I don't really love how they do business sometimes, all that shit. But the key thing is that his case, in that case and that scenario, it was absolute bullshit, but the guy won against the company anyway. So you gotta bear that shit in mind, that people win cases even if they're in the wrong, even if they're lying. Like there was the whole McDonald's case where somebody ate McDonald's daily and got chubby or some shit. I don't know if it's true or not, but this is what I heard before. And they won a case. So just bear that shit in mind. So Faze Clan could win the case and still be bullshitting, and Tfue could win the case and still be bullshitting. So just keep that in mind. I'm gonna try to be as unbiased as possible, but I'm gonna talk from experience and try to tell you how my understanding of the situation. Because I think some people might not understand the situation in depth and just be jumping into crazy conclusions. So first of all, we just have to state a few facts. Without Faze Clan, Tfue would not be as big as today. Would he still blow up eventually? Probably. Both of them are benefiting hugely. Obviously, Faze Clan is getting massive exposure from Tfue. He has the Faze Clan logo every time he's streaming. He has a Faze Clan hoodie and all that shit. So, just because monetary wise it seems like Faze isn't making money does not mean Faze is not making money. Faze is making money through Faze merchandise. A lot of money from Faze merchandise. So like the championship deal, the champion hoodie deal, that's huge for Faze. Now, people will be saying, "Oh, Tfue is only getting 20% from merchandise," but you have to understand that most merchandise that Faze sell, if I'm not mistaken, Faze only sell Faze merchandise. So it would make no sense if Tfue made 80% from Faze merchandise. It just wouldn't make any sense. And why it wouldn't make any sense is because first, Faze merchandise existed before Tfue, will exist after Tfue, and all the deals that they got, like Champions Hoodie, is via Faze and not via Tfue. So it just wouldn't make any sense if Tfue is making 80%. That's just business 101. It just doesn't add up whatsoever. So obviously, with that being the case, right? And I'm just looking at the website right now, and there's no Tfue thing anywhere, right? Everything is just Faze. Absolutely everything is Faze here, right? And there's Nate Hill. That's it. So there's Faze and there's Nate Hill. So just bear that in mind when people are talking about this whole brand deals, or when they're talking about merchandise. Now with brand deals, Again, it's essentially the same scenario. So if let's say Manchester United uh is has a deal with Chevrolet, right? And through Manchester United, which they do in real life actually, and through Manchester United, let's say Paul Pogba gets a deal via Chevrolet, it is completely within Manchester United's rights to get 80% of that deal. Does that make sense? Because that deal cannot happen, would not exist without him being a part of Manchester, and that deal would be nullified as soon as he leaves Manchester United. If that makes any sense to you, right? And then those separate deals, like a Nike deal and an Adidas deal, right? That Pogba can get on his own, right? If he wants Manchester United to help him do it, is okay. He can do that on his own, and maybe Manchester can get 20% out of it, right? No, they don't. But I'm just saying, as an example, they can get 20% out of that because they helped him sign that deal, and but it's his deal. Okay, it's not a true Manchester United deal. It's a Pogba deal helped made by Manchester United. So you have to understand that. So let's say if Faze Clan is sponsored by let's say energy drink, right? Let's say Monster Energy, right? And they signed Tfue, and then Tfue is getting 20% of the Monster Energy drink sales. That's a really good deal, to be honest. On Tfue's side, it's a great deal for him because that deal is already in place, or that deal is a Faze Clan deal, not a Tfue deal. Does that make sense? Now, obviously, if then Red Bull say, "Oh, Tfue, we got a 50 million deal for you," right? Even though it's way more than what he's getting from Monster Energy, it is not unreasonable for Faze Clan to reject that deal. It is not unreasonable at all. Why it's not unreasonable is because it's a competitor. It's like you play for Manchester United. I'm gonna keep using that as an example, and I'm gonna put up pictures so you can kind of understand. You play for Manchester United, you Paul Pogba, and they're sponsored by Chevrolet, and then let's say Audi wants to sponsor Pogba. Pogba cannot accept that deal. He can accept a water deal. He can accept any deal that does not conflict with the deal that his team is in. Does that make sense? That's just how business works. That's business 101. It would not make sense if you have a Chevrolet sponsored team, the main star driving a fucking Audi sponsored vehicle. It just wouldn't make any sense business wise. That's just not how that shit works. Now, is he allowed to drive any car he wants? Of course he is. Is Tfue allowed to drink whatever drink he wants? Of course he is. He's not allowed to take sponsorship money to represent that brand though, because it's competition. It just doesn't add up. So dumb tweets that be saying shit like that, just, oh, he's stopping him from getting deals. If that deal is conflicting against Faze Clan, it's 100% reasonable. Now, obviously, if that deal is not conflicting, it just wouldn't make sense for Faze to not take the deal because they still get a cut from Tfue. So why would they not take a better deal? Do you get me? So people have to really kind of use their head when it comes to this situation. I think a lot of people are just jumping in the bandwagon again and not really thinking about the whole situation clearly at all. Okay, so if you understand that whole segment I just talked about, I think you would understand how brand deals and stuff like that work much better, and you would understand why Faze might block deals. I'm not saying this is what happened. I'm saying this is a possibility that a lot of people are just ignoring or just not thinking about because they don't understand the industry fully. Okay, so next part I want to kind of talk about as well is the whole streaming and all that stuff. Now, Tfue himself has come out on video while playing Fortnite saying that he gets all of the revenue himself. He gets all of it, and when it comes to competitions, for about 50% of that goes to charity when it comes to competition. But when it comes to streaming, all that shit, he keeps all the money, right? So then people be saying, where is Faze getting money? Like I said, they'll be getting money via the Faze merch, because by Tfue wearing the hoodie, by Tfue, representing Faze Clan all the time, they're generating millions just from that alone. Okay, so they don't. It's like when you have, let's say, Paul Pogba representing Nike, even if he doesn't have his own boots, just him representing Nike brings Nike money. Do you get me? Now, obviously, Nike is gonna make a hell of a lot more from a Paul Pogba boot than Paul Pogba himself would be making from it. You know what I mean? So That's all is how that shit works, because Paul doesn't have to worry about creating the shit. Paul doesn't have to worry about designing the shit. Paul doesn't have to worry about the like fucking the distribution of the shit. He doesn't have to worry about none of that. So it makes sense then that Nike keeps 80% and Paul gets 20% of his own boots, because again, he does not have to worry about distribution. He doesn't have to worry about design. He does not have to worry about he doesn't have to worry about freaking anything, really, to be honest, except putting his name on it and taking pictures with it every now and then. That's it. So you have to understand how this shit works. So when people are like, "Oh, it's crazy," blah blah blah, it's not that crazy when it comes to the business world. This is how this shit works, because it just wouldn't make sense for a company like Faze, for example, to say, "Okay, here are Tfue hoodies," which they do not have on the website, or shirts or anything, right? And say, "Here's a Tfue hoodie that we designed, that we distribute, that we pay for, and we'll give him 80%." It just doesn't make sense. Now, if Tfue came out and did that himself for his own website, and then Faze Clan was like, "Oh, 50 million," now then that would be a problem, right? Then that would be a completely different problem. Then that's when it's like, okay, Faze might be robbing this dude. But as far as I can see, there's no Tfue merch in the actual Faze website. The only place I can find it is in like Redouble, and which is, I don't think Faze really does anything with that. Now they do have a lot of Faze stuff, and they have the not Tfue stuff. So I don't know how that deal works. Because it's not first party. It seems to be second party. So that would completely work different. Now, if it's second party, what you have to understand is why then Tfue or Turner might be getting a low ball, is because so Faze would have to hire a separate company to design everything, right? And then the deal would probably work out that, you know, they would never say like, "Oh, just the Tfue merchandise, 80% goes to Tfue and 20% goes to us." It would never work that way. It'll always be that everything sold, these are the percentages, and you get this percentage, you get this percent, and Faze keeps this percent. That's usually how distribution of stuff like that works. So it again, it wouldn't make sense for Tfue to make more than Faze in any of these cases, apart from the case that I mentioned before. So that's the thing. I think people just have to bear that shit in mind. And also, I don't see a Tfue website. I don't know if there is a Tfue website. I can't find it myself, and I'm trying my hardest to find it, and I just cannot find it. And so, by the looks of it, right, when it comes to merchandise anyway, Faze are definitely within the rights to get 80%. The Champions deal is huge. They're completely in the right to even keep 100% of the Champions deal, to be honest with you. But obviously they probably don't. So that's the thing you have to like think about when it comes to this business shit. Okay, so then the next part is the whole drinking shit. I think that whole shit is just bullshit. I think anybody with common sense is gonna understand that whole shit is just bullshit. Makes no sense. Bro, I know 13-year-olds that be drinking, like 12-year-olds, 14-year-olds. Come on, all of you guys watching this shit have probably been drinking before, even before your right age. Europeans, obviously, it's not even a big deal here if a 16-year-old drinks at all, or 15-year-old, but it's a big deal in America, as far as I know, right? So in America, I'm not 100% sure why your laws are like that, but they are how they are. And 21 is the age, which is weird. You can do so much shit for 18, but you cannot drink. But yeah, so essentially, when it comes to that, I just think it's bullshit, because we've seen Turner drink on his own channels. We've seen him do way crazy shit, and he talks about that Faze pushed him to do dumb shit. These are the things that I'm 100% sure that is just bullshit. Is that no? Because if you watch Tfue's videos, even before he came to Faze Clan, he was jumping off fucking bridges and doing crazy dumb shit all the time, and it makes more sense if he was pressurizing Faze to do that shit, which actually Faze Banks says in his Keemstar interview, which you guys should watch. I will leave the link in the description. So I think that's the thing. So that part, I'm just gonna skim past. The whole gambling thing, I'm gonna put it in the same scenario as the other shit. I think it's also bullshit. I don't think there's really much of a leg there, but I think they're just trying to build up a whole case together that's stronger on its own. So even if they debunk one or two, the main thing that they want is the money situation. Now the money situation gets very, very complicated for several reasons. So reason one is, so if people wanted to sponsor just Tfue, and there was no conflict, and then Faze Clan rejected it. Now, again, like I repeated, this business wise, this just literally makes zero sense that they would take a smaller deal over a bigger deal. Now, why this they might reject a deal, a new deal for Tfue though, again, business wise, is, let's say for example, when Tfue just started getting clout, these guys came to sponsor Tfue, right? And then Faze Clan goes, yeah, they'll sponsor, let them sponsor Tfue, and then let's say a competitor with a better deal rejected Faze's offer to sponsor, for like after Faze went to them and be like, yo, can you sponsor this guy? You guys should sponsor this guy. He's gonna be great. He's gonna be huge. And they were like, nah, we're not really feeling it. But another company bid and they sponsored Tfue. And then after a while, Tfue was wondering, why am I not working with that? These guys want me, but not understanding that we tried to shop you to them and they said no, right? So you have to oblige by your contract and finish off that deal because they did you a solid by being there for you when you were nothing, essentially, right? So now, and the negative part of it for Faze would be if, let's say, they did take those deals and those deals were actually way larger than they admitted to Tfue, or those deals became bigger as Tfue grew and Tfue still only got the same percentage throughout. Now, those would be the problems again. So you have to like bear that in mind, that it's very complicated. There's a lot of layers and possibilities that could happen when it comes to deals like that could be messed up in terms of Faze Clan fucking over Tfue. I just try to explain to you as best as I could how a lot of this shit works. But when it comes to then fucking over people, it gets very, very messy because there is a lot that Faze will be able to do in hiding to prevent Tfue from gaining a lot of monetary gain. Now, however, countering that though, I would have to say that, look, if Tfue gets all of his Twitch streams, right, he keeps all of that revenue, and if you look at the numbers, his numbers skyrocketed because of Faze Clan. Skyrocketed. Millions have been made for him personally because of Faze Clan, right? And his YouTube is the same. All of his shit is skyrocketed because of Faze Clan. If that's the case, right, and let's say Faze has this multi-million-dollar deal that Faze is taking 80% and Tfue's getting 20%. If you really add up what Faze should be taking, if they talk about the YouTube deals, if you talk about the streaming, Twitch, if you talk about all that shit that they literally pushed to the T, the Instagram, all that shit, right? If we talk about all of that shit, and just in case you didn't know, people get paid to post on Instagram. Tfue could be getting paid 500K just to post a Fortnite photo. Like, this type of shit's really be happening. Kim Kardashian makes tons of Instagram posts. So there's a lot of shit that happens that a lot of people just don't know happens. So just bear that in mind. So, for example, now, if that's the case, then, it's just, so Tfue would still, probably be winning regardless, because even if let's say there's a few brand deals that Faze Clan are getting way more than they should be from, the fact that they're not getting from his streams and all that stuff, which is millions, would still mean that they're probably still getting less than they would be if they actually got the percentages from everything instead of cheating him off a few deals. So it just, there wouldn't be too much to gain for Faze to do that. But again, businesses, depending on how big the deal is, businesses do try to do a lot of sneaky shit in the background as well. So I'm not trying to really defend Faze, but it's just from business experience, there's a lot more leg for Faze to stand on right now than there is for Tfue. But regardless, I just hope that the relationship is not destroyed in neither of the businesses, Tfue himself as a business and Faze Clan themselves as a business. I hope none of them get destroyed from this, because I'm a big fan of both and I do not want either of them failing. Now, if they do own Tfue money, then they gotta pay up. They gotta pay up, man. By any means they gotta pay up. But at the same time, I think they've been very nice to Tfue by not taking the percentages that they should be. At least that's what they claim. And Tfue himself in video, I repeat, has said it, and you can find that in Faze's Twitter. I'll try my best to download the video on Twitter. I don't know how to download videos on Twitter, but I'll Google and try my best to get that for you. And if I do, I'll try to get as many footages and many pictures and as many tweets and shit like that to put for you. Anyway, thanks for watching. This is really my 2 cents on the whole shit. I just want you guys to understand the other side of it. I think it's very easy to defend Tfue, and as an artist myself, I was actually more inclined to defend Tfue at first, but then I thought about the whole situation, read a few tweets, and just also watched the interview with Keemstar, and I was like, okay, wait a minute, you know what I mean? I worked in business. I understand the industry. Why am I talking emotionally? So I had to sit back and tell myself, chill, think about this shit logically. And my conclusion is that more than likely what happened is, yes, Faze probably took a bit more than they should have in some brand deals. However, Tfue was probably misinformed about how much that was or shit like that, and he probably feels like certain deals he's been underballed. But at the same time, I feel like he's gained a lot more from Faze than anything really, you know. So I just feel, I don't know, it's hard really, to be honest. I don't know, you guys let me know what you guys think. I don't really want to say who I'm siding with and like that, and I don't think you guys should say who you're siding with either, but just maybe state why you're more inclined to side with one side than the other. But I definitely wouldn't outright say that Faze Clan are doing slave deals, and I wouldn't outright say that Tfue is lying, you know what I mean? Excuse me. So, and I wouldn't say that Tfue's also a saint in this situation. So I think people just got to try to think about this shit like as balanced as possible. Anyway, it's been your boy Supreme Uchiha. I need to turn my showering on off, and I'm out.